Just starting off, just getting a win, and clearly this team picking up offensively where they left off with the exhibition games. Almost broke 100, not quite, but close enough.
We make a few more free throws early in the game. That takes care of itself. But I thought, again, we took good shots. About 5 or 6 of those turnovers are my fault because we haven't worked on a press breaker, and we turned it over a few times against the press. I'll take 5 or 6 of those turnovers off of them, but we got 92 shots and maybe had 10 turnovers before they started pressing us. 7 people in double figures. I only remember doing that one time in Tecmo basketball back on Nintendo when I had it. That's great balance. So thought it was efficient. We don't really try to turn people over, but that number grew because we got a few early and we started gambling a little bit and had success. So that turned into some transition as well. But I thought we had some good half-court execution against zone. That's the first real true zone we've seen, and I thought we shot it pretty good. So,
just the depth, do you feel it's night and day different than last year?
That's the word a lot of people have been saying, night and day. Yeah, to be able to have the confidence to walk in the locker room and, not start a couple of kids who have been starting, knowing that they're probably going to start on Wednesday night. We've just changing lineups. There was no worry about it. There was no frustration. It was my time's coming, I'll be ready. So the depth is something we're going to continue to cultivate. I don't think you can talk about having depth and then not play people close to equal minutes. So we've done that through the exhibitions. I'm sure that time will come. I'm not a coach that's ever done hockey lineups 5 for 5 throughout the course of the year, but I'm also old school enough to know you don't try to change something that's working. So we're going to keep doing it until it doesn't work. But quality depth is nice to have.
When you look at 19 of 33 from the line, is that maybe the biggest disappointment from
Also my fault. We had a terrible day in shoot-around yesterday. I let them be a little too loose. They were joking around way too much, and it carries over. I told them I won't make that mistake again. But that is for us to shoot like we're capable of shooting. Just that's a concentration thing, and we've got to get that improved. I like the number of attempts. I just don't like the discrepancy in there on the number of misses. We'll work at it.
What do you see Alexis bringing to this team?
Well, from the first day we got it, before we tried to get her here last year. We tried really hard. She is a kid who's always wanted to be a Razorback, and she plays that way. And then we've got confidence in her. So when you give a kid like that confidence to shoot that first shot of the game or the season from that was 25 feet, but she makes it in practice all the time. So she stretches the floor. She brings those. Now IT and Mal have much wider driving angles. She's really good in transition as well. You saw her make a couple of really nice moves to the basket. She gives us that other threat, that depth of a threat at the perimeter.
The ability for your guards to pass and the whole team, the ball movement. They talked about the baseball drill that you do with them, and just how important is that with the weapons you have on the floor to keep that ball movement going?
Well, it becomes unguardable. Jordan is a really good friend of mine. He said, you guys are really hard to guard. You got to give up something, and y'all do a good job of finding it. The baseball drill is something we shoot every single day, 4 or 5 different ways, everybody getting lots of shots and in different game spots, and I think that carries over. There's also best shot mentality. I saw a couple times today where we had a good shot and we passed it up for a great shot. Jalen Mason did it twice. Chelsea Dungy did it twice. We had a couple of other opportunities. Mal on that charge, before I even stood up to say anything, she says, I saw her, coach. I should have thrown the pass to the corner. So we're starting to see things. Even if we do make the mistake, they know where the mistake came without having to be corrected. The locker room at halftime is much more mature. I went in with a list of things to want to talk about, and they all said, Coach, we've already got it talked about. We're good. We're communicating better. We're going to talk better on those screens. But it was incredibly loud. How many times could y'all not hear the whistle today? I remember 4 or 5 times when you couldn't hear the whistle, and I've never been in a women's basketball gym when that happened. And it happened 4 or 5 times today. So we've got areas to work on, but I am happy with how we're moving it.
Looking at the main 10 that you played today, did anyone surprise you in a way where they maybe took a step up to that next level, or were you just really
Just
Really
please, yeah, really solid. This is what they've been doing. I mean, if you saw us in Italy and you saw the 2 exhibition games, and this is what they've been doing. You know, I worried about Lex, whether she would be ready for the stage, but when she shot the first one and made it, I kind of looked at Coach Todd and we said, okay, we got that one right. But you know, Rokia is a kid that I'm really watching as a freshman. I don't want to put that kid in any situation she's not ready for. But so far, she just continues to rise up to that occasion. She's an incredibly mature learner. I think a year at IMG, and then just being from a different culture and a different background, I continue to be a little bit surprised that she's as ready as she is. It's hard to be the only freshman because you hear a lot of voices, because now all these upperclassmen think they know everything. So they try to help her in every drill, which is a great thing also, but it can be overwhelming. So she does a good job of balancing that. But I certainly thought she and, you know, I think in some changing roles, you know, you get a Jalen Mason, who last year was probably our 3rd leading scorer. Maybe that's right. I know she was our leading 3-point shooter. You know, she's a facilitator a lot now. The ball doesn't find her for shots a lot more, as much as it did last year, because she's making those things happen. Bailey's role's changing a little bit. So the acceptance of those things is huge. And then the fulfillment will have to come as we go. But accepting it's the first step. And so far they've been great at that.